Hey, baby.
Welcome back. I mean, we took a break, but we back at it. My brother Saya, aka Sai, is not here right now, but we're gonna get this episode going without him. You know me as Chocolate Dad.
It's your boy Styles.
This is Man 95. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Like we always tell everybody, like, subscribe, follow. Make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend and tell a stranger. Make some new friends out there with your folks, man.
Peep the shirts though.
Yeah, that's a fact. It's a good shirt.
Yeah.
That's a little tight.
Back though.
Shirt might be a little tight on you. What'd that say?
Nah, this muscle fit.
Oh.
You feel me? Yeah.
You went and bought muscles for it, or?
That's a fact.
Oh, okay, cool.
Check out we gonna have the merch out for y'all. Hit
That's
my
a
line,
fact.
hit any one of our lines. We can get that to you.
Yes, and we're gonna have the site set up just now. Listen, it's summertime. We're dads. We have families. You know what I'm saying? As much as we want to be here every single day, every single week with you guys interacting, you know what I'm saying? We got to take care of home, take care of the family who holds us down while we out here grinding. So if we got to, go to Disney, if we got to go to the water parks, you know what I'm saying? Listen, we work hard. We want to provide for our families, and that's what we've been doing. So we took a little abrupt break. You know what I'm saying? Hang with the family, hang with each other, do what it do. Have a good time. But we back. We outside. We back outside. You know what I'm saying? It's been fucking hot as shit. Oh my God.
Kind of heat. This is the 98 kind of heat. This ain't no like regular 2000s.
Hey, you remember?
Yeah, I remember that. Man.
I was 8 years old. I don't know how hot it was in 98.
Yeah, but 98 was
I was about 11 or something.
Felt long.
But you know what is great? When we were that age, we didn't really care. We just wanted to be outside. We were just doing our own
I ain't
thing.
gonna front 98. I had a fan. Fuck an AC.
Yeah, I didn't have a fan,
My
man.
parents wasn't buying no AC.
I didn't have a fan.
Yo, you try to cool it down when you put it in the window a little bit.
Yo, it's not funny. I remember my parents finally got a AC, right? And they got one, and like at the time they probably thought it was the most elite shit in the world, or whatever. It was like 4,000 BTUs, which we obviously in this day and age we know ain't. It's a fucking little fan, right? But we put in my parents' room, and we all had to my parents slept in their bed, and all the kids slept on the floor in my parents' room or whatever. Don't get me wrong, that was a good time. We had a good time, watching TV, playing games, whatever, till we all fell asleep in the summertime. So it was definitely good, family bonding time or whatever the case may be. But it was hot.
I
was hot.
Didn't get an AC till like 2003. I'm dragging it, but like in the 2000s, I got an AC.
I can't even remember when. Honestly, I just remember the heat and the fan blowing some hot ass air.
We used to chill on the balcony to get some air.
Yeah.
Even that was.
But
hot.
it's even worse now because like in the line of work that we're in, like when it's hot outside, bro. You gotta be outside, and it's like you outside in a t-shirt and regular. Like you outside in like heavy, fire retardant clothing, heavy ass boots.
Fire retardant holds the heat. Like that job, I swear. Like you get out the thing,
it absorbs the heat. Yeah, it definitely does.
I'm cooking the whole damn time.
It definitely does. But listen, summertime. What can we expect? Because when we get to winter time, people are gonna complain. When you get to summertime, people are gonna complain. In the fall, people are gonna be sneezing. In the spring, it is what it is. You live in New York, you gotta deal with all 4 seasons. And the summer been coming with a vengeance, and the winter been coming with the winter. The winter been coming like they know that we on Game of Thrones. Like they be coming like White Walkers, crazy. Remember last time we was filming in the winter, we was parking on mountains of snow. Like it was just
that was rough,
disrespectful out there. But end of the day, we shoot the shits. But listen, we did miss y'all. I miss y'all, man. I'm happy to see y'all, man. It's been a couple of weeks.
Just when we started to be outside, they want to just close us back up.
Yeah, right.
They invented all type of COVIDs. They got the Delta, the 22.
Listen,
COVID.
The only Delta I fuck with is the airline, man. Delta, no.
Can't even fuck with that right now either.
Yeah, I ain't going nowhere. Listen. Everywhere we've been as a family and a vacationing has been in that 4x4, bro.
Yo, wherever a car could take me at that point, man.
Yeah, we ain't doing no flights.
Guy, he's over here stamping his passport over here.
Speaking of that, I'm letting viewers know now. Listen, if you get going out this country, make sure you look at all the rules and regulations, because you just got to do your research. It took us a lot to get into Turks as far as what we needed, the documents and everything. and even coming back. So we're so focused on getting
Getting
there.
there, you gotta get home.
They didn't even think about getting
return.
home. Yeah, so getting home, we had to take the vaccine. We got to the airport like.
You have to take the vaccine or you have to get
I
a
mean,
test?
the shot. I'm sorry.
Like,
We had
wait
to
a-
take the,
wait a minute.
I said the shot. The
You
test.
still didn't get it right. The test.
You gotta take the test on the way back. So we got to the airport. Like, good thing we got to the airport in a decent
You
amount
did
of
it in
time.
the airport.
Nah. See,
At the resort, you did.
Nah,
No,
see,
not even.
when we got to the airport, it was 12 o'clock. No one told us we needed the vaccine, so we stood online till about 1. Our flight leave at 3. The test, yeah. Our flight leave at 3. So we got up to them at 1. We gave them the our COVID test from when we first got there. So she looked at it. She said, "No, I can't use this. You had to take a test within these last 3 days." I'm like, "That's nowhere on the website." So she wasn't really much help. She said, "Listen, I got this place, 10 minutes out. You can go take the test and come back." So we went. We took the test. The journey was $60 for each
Wow,
person.
how about
Even my
that?
son, who's 2 years old,
Son.
he had to take the test. It
You
was
stick that
$60.
joint up his
So,
nose and everything,
yeah. So we spent $180 just to get back
Just to
home.
leave.
Just to
Damn.
leave.
But
'Cause
that's
it probably would have cost us more in a flight anyway. So
But that's a very real thing, and it's like crazy. It's like as far into it as we currently are with everything going on
You
with
still
travel
be,
and
like,
that kind
on
of
the-
stuff.
on the
You
wrong
still have to
other
do all of
side,
that
yeah.
because Beck and I, we had her cousin's wedding, the one I ended up going to Middle America for. They originally wanted to do it in Jamaica, and we like we lit, yo, destination wedding, get a little sun on our skin, we lit. The reason why they ended up canceling it is because they could not secure a certified place to get everybody tested in time to come back home.
That's crazy.
So everybody in America, you know,
going to a wedding, you stuck out there.
that's what I'm saying. And that goes back to what we were talking about with the passport, why you got to make sure it's always up to date. Because if say you get stuck out wherever you're
You
going,
need the amount of time to be able to return.
you know what I'm saying? Now he's dealing with COVID. It could have been some illegal shit like Steve was doing, smuggling booze and women and shit. But now you out there stuck because you couldn't get a COVID test.
That you have to have. Got it.
So, listen, everybody out there, listen, be prepared. Not only check the CDC websites, the country you're going to, make sure they're not a lockdown country. You know what I'm saying? Like I know somebody who unfortunately had a family member pass away overseas in Italy, and Italy and a couple of neighboring
24-hour
countries,
lockdown
they had a lockdown instilled a couple of weeks ago. Like people couldn't come into the country. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of information you got to know when's going on. That's why, like I said, my family vacations or whatever have been like the farthest we've gone is probably like, like PA, South Jersey, Connecticut, things like that. And you got to find your fun and make it in between those type of places.
it's whack, bro.
It is
trash.
super trash.
But
You know what I'm saying?
Like the headache of it makes it even worse when you trying to go out of the country. Then you sitting there like,
I was fucking annoyed, bro.
yeah, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
Yo,
All the money you spent there, and all of a
Yeah.
sudden to leave you like $180.
That's
like this.
yeah, exactly.
And the
So
COVID
that's
test
like
took us no more than 5 minutes, bro. We
That's
spent
crazy.
$180 for 5
Just
minutes.
like that, right?
But now think about
For
it too,
nothing.
right?
For nothing to show for it.
Right, and that's also because you're in another country.
But
But
you're
in-
here now. You back
Well,
home.
I'm glad you're here back. You know, you didn't get no can hang. So
Yeah.
that's the most important thing about it, right? But listen, at the end of the day, listen, it's the times that we live in. It's what's going on, and we just have to adjust and adapt, just like we've done with everything else in our
As we've
lives.
been doing what is now over. It's been a year.
Yeah, it's
over-
like
almost a year
19
and a
months.
half.
Yeah, definitely over a year and a half.
Man, that's crazy.
Shoot, so
School about to come back and everything.
and that's another thing with school coming back and all the regulation, everything. We spoke about it on our live, things of that nature, and kind of like what Steve always says. It's like let go and let God. But
Yeah. That's what you got to do. Let go and let God.
But speaking of let go and let God, right? Are you guys religious?
I'm not.
I used to be.
Yeah, I'm not.
Growing up, I've been
You did the whole thing. The
baptism.
Yeah, I did all
and
that
then
too.
I went to Sunday school
Did that,
because
yeah.
my family's Catholic, and I went to Sunday school, got my first communion. Had my first communion and everything. But other than that, well, I think what made me not really like the whole church scene is because the churches we went to growing up was a Haitian church, so all they spoke was Creole, and
So
I'm
you can
talking about.
understand what.
Yeah, I mean, I understand
yeah,
it, but it's like the church lasts from fucking sun up to sundown.
Yeah,
In a Haitian church, you in there 3-4 hours.
Definitely
Who
all
wants
day
to
affair.
be in there for 3-4 hours? As I grew up, I went to these churches that, you know, probably last 45 minutes to an hour, which was cool, but growing up already, you know, made me dislike going to church because like so much of a Sunday just lost.
But you watch a game for 4 hours.
I can't even do that.
I can't sit through a football game?
Nah.
It's funny.
I probably catch
mine
a
is the
football
same
game.
scenario. Like I did everything, the same thing, and then like me now is like I ain't gonna lie, I'm far from religious. Like
Yeah.
Like, and the thing is for me, what made it hard for me is that there's a lot of questions that was never answered. So it was more of a thing, just go. But I'm like, you know, why? It's almost like today's day, like, you know, when people asking, I mean, it's different, but when we say, you know, get the vaccine, but why? Like, I should have the right to ask you why, because you're instilling something in me. Again, it's whether you're doing it physically or mentally, you're instilling something in me. So why am I going to, like, explaining, what am I learning in this situation?
I tell my parents and my grandparents, like, yo, everything I could say to God, I could say right here at home.
The same thing. That's
or in my car or anywhere. I can say it. I don't have to be in a church to say whatever I got to say to God.
Both of your sentiments pretty much mimic my own, right? So I grew up in a church. My parents were, you know, were Roman Catholic. You know, shout out to all my St. Jerome peoples, you know, Notion and Newkirk over there by 29th. My dad worked in the church. He was a custodian for the church for almost his whole career, for like 30 some odd years. Me and all my siblings went to the school, we grew up in Catholic school. My mom is very religious to this day. Like if my mom ain't home, she's one of three places. She with my godmom doing some ratchet shit. They doing the ratchet shit, but they doing ratchet shit. They are at church, or my mom is home, like, or going to do some praise shit, like, or she at the grocery shopping, right? So I definitely grew up in the church. I grew up Roman Catholic, and the same exact thing that you guys talk about, right? When we was younger, we went to the Haitian Mass at 7:45 on a Sunday, early in the morning, and we was there till 11 till the English Mass started. So then, you know,
Then they want you to hit both services.
Yeah, yeah.
So you mean to tell me I gotta leave the Haitian one and go to the English one?
And
What's the point of me going to the Haitian one?
Funny, I didn't go to like a Haitian one. I mean, I went to one in St. Albans, St. Pascal, and it wasn't Haitian.
That's a Haitian church,
but it wasn't though. I remember the guy. He was a white dude. Like he was English. It was English. I sat through the thing, but it was funny too because at the time I remember I was the only one there. Like I was sitting in the mass by myself at the time. So like I said, I'm sitting there. I'm trying to understand it. I used to get in trouble like why, like but you know you're not allowed to ask why.
Right.
So it also I'll say. I mean I will let you finish before as I got older. I had no foundation to sit there and say, why am I going? Because at the end of the day, like a kid, like when you tell your kid, take a shower, why? Because at the end of the day, you gotta be clean, you don't want nobody making fun of you. So then you explain that kid grows up like, yo, I don't want nobody making fun of me, so I'm gonna continue to take care of myself. So nobody's telling me why you're gonna go to that. Then now I'm an adult, I can do it myself. I never had an answer, so I see almost no purpose in the sense.
Yeah, and same for me, right? So always went to church, even to the point where like I became an altar server only for the sole purpose because my older brother was an altar server, right? And you want to remember your older siblings, but they always take them on trips, like take them to Six Flags and shit. Like, oh shit, I get free trips. I do that, but then when I became an altar server, they was like, oh, we broke. I'm like, oh, fuck y'all then. So then, but truthfully though, like as all of us get older, right? We question things. We're smarter, and we learn more about just who we are, about ourselves, and things of that nature. And so when we have questions. The issue for me personally that became about religion is like religion is supposed to be blind faith. It's supposed to be like, yo, cover your eyes, walk off this bridge, and you're gonna be able to walk on air. You know what I'm saying? And for me, in real life, I'm like, yo, I can't do that. Like, I can't just blindly wear an all red hat and walk around my corner. Like I don't feel as though I'm gonna make it down this block where I'm growing up, where I grew up. You know what I'm saying? And just all sorts of things. And the number one reason why I stopped going to church, 'cause I used to go to church religiously every Sunday, right? I stopped going on Sundays because when you're in varsity football, when you're in JV, you play on Sundays, right? So I used to go on Saturday Mass. But then when I was on varsity, you always play on Sunday. So I was like, I'm tired from practice. I gotta do teenage shit on a Saturday. I wasn't going on. I wasn't skipping my football game on varsity to go on a Sunday. I just wasn't going. Doesn't mean that I diluted my faith or anything of that nature at that time. But as I got older into college and whatever the case may be, I would always go with my mom for like Easter, midnight mass. If I came home from school, you know, I would go with her because my mom is devout religious. My mom is a prayer warrior. Like anybody out there, if you have anything, any ailments, any situation, you need prayer, let me know. My mom will pray for you and you're going to get through it. My mom and God is like this. Dead ass. But for me, I was in church one day with her. I think I was already out of college. I already bought my apartment. I was back home and I went to church with my mom on a Sunday. And I was sitting in church and the pastor was on some, you know, the main reason why things in society are all fucked up, and you know, when he didn't say that. He didn't say that word in church. But we know. But I knew what the fuck he was trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, the reason why society is all messed up, and the reason why crime is going up and things going on is you have these kids this day and age, and these teenagers and young adults, and their pants sag, and they're buying these expensive sneakers, so they're killing each other for it, all that kind of stuff. And I was just like, the fuck? Mm-hmm. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you're so out of touch with reality, bro. And what really got me, he's saying it, and all of the people in the congregation are like clapping their hands, like, yes, yes, yes. And I'm looking around like on some like Truman Show shit, like, yeah, this shit cannot be real, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, y'all saying that y'all kids is what's wrong and what's fucked up in the world? How did your kids get here?
That's a fact.
What preceded it? What preceded before us getting here? Mm-hmm. So you trying to tell me if I sag my pants, I am what is causing the earth to, you know, I'm causing, you know,
screw up the world,
screwing up the world. Like I'm causing, you know, what's this shit? Ice Cat's melt. I'm brain fart right now.
You screwing up the world?
Nah, not screwing up the world. With the right thing or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the case may be, but. I just couldn't fathom that a person of God is passing such judgment and from such a wrong place. Mm-hmm. And I got home from my mom. Like I drove to church. I drove my mom back home. I said, "Yo, mom, you really believe that bullshit he was saying?" She's like, "Oh, don't curse." I'm like, "Nah, bro, for real though." Like,
you was mad the whole ride. You was mad the whole ride home.
I mean, it's not like 6 blocks, but
nonetheless. Hey Arnold, he had the fist like
Hey Arnold.
If it was only 6 blocks, why didn't you just walk? It was only 6 blocks. Should have just walked.
You got your mind together by the time you got home.
First of all,
that shit off your chest in a couple blocks,
first of all, now y'all both know y'all bullshitting. Because anybody knows that if they take their Haitian mom to church, y'all are not riding alone. I live 6 blocks. That does not mean that Sister Maggie and Sister Georgia and the rest of them live there. So you know you're making stops along the way. And mom has to stop and she has to get pate. She has to go to the store and buy shit that she got to make for dinner. Your commute is not a straight commute. It's not a straight Uber ride.
3 hours minimum. From church, you know? 3 hours minimum.
As soon as you get home, your shit is grumbling. And you wanna go make like a frozen pizza or something? No, I'm gonna make dinner. Now you gotta wait 2 more hours. Disrespectful, right? But realistically, I asked my mom. I said, "Yo, did you really believe like the shit that he's saying though?" And she's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, "What he's essentially saying is the reason that the world is the way it is and everything that's fucked up is me and my friends and people like us fault." I was like, "You act like I control my environment." And my environment was put here by the people who put me here, which is y'all motherfuckers. Mm-hmm. So that for me would turn me off from religion. And at that point, I started reading more and seeking more information just about all sorts of religion. Because religion and politics are the 2 most controversial things in the whole world. Mm-hmm. And religion is the top thing that caused, if anybody does any sort of any sort of history that you've done, whether it's just up until 4th grade or you've actually done your research, religion is what causes the most turmoil in this entire world. Look at the Middle East. Look at Israel and Palestine. Y'all are fighting over land that y'all both claim over opposite religions, but for the same sort of thing. But I'm not an expert, so I'm not passing judgment. I'm just saying, overall, you know what I'm saying? Like, religion is such a divisive topic. And so now I think as a parent, like how do I want to proceed with that with my own kids?
See, my issue with that is like I guess we all could say on the same chord, because it's like, how do I answer, again, going back to me as a child, how do I push something on my kid that I never got an answer on? So I'm now becoming what they, people who tend to say a lot about religious people, they say they're hypocrites. So then now I'm trying to put something on my child to say that, and then my son asks me, or my children ask me, why are we going? I can't give them answers. I also never had the answers.
But see, the way this world works is like, you got tattoos, right? Mm-hmm. If Naya or Jax want to get a tattoo, you gonna let them get a tattoo?
At an appropriate age, yes.
At 18 or whatever. When they can't get a tattoo,
yes.
Just because you have them.
Not just because I have them, but because I understand.
But you can't say no. Even if you didn't want them to have a tattoo, you can't say no because you have them.
That's not necessarily the truth.
That's
not the truth. You know
that's a part of being a hypocrite.
No, it's not being.
It's not. You can't, Dad. You can't.
Hold on. No.
You have a tattoo.
No.
That's like people who smoke cigarettes or weed and tell their kids you cannot smoke weed.
But that means,
Mom, you smoke weed. Why can't smoke weed?
But it's not hypocritical, because there are certain things that as adults that we knew that, like, if you look back, if you could have controlled your environment, you would not have done that. So that's like saying, your
parent different, bro.
But, I'm just saying, tattoo. Hold on, real quick. I'm sorry. Tattoos is just a version of what you're responding to, right? But say your parent was a crackhead, and your kid now 18, like, yo, not only am I gonna sell crack, I'm gonna smoke crack. You and like, yo, don't smoke crack. You're gonna say, it's hypocritical.
You're not telling your kid not to smoke crack.
But
you don't even know what day of the week is.
But what I'm saying is, okay, say you're recovered. So you recovered from it, right? Okay. You no longer have a crack addiction. You know what I'm saying? You're always gonna be an addict, but you no longer have that addiction. You've gotten yourself together. You've gotten past whatever turmoil or whatever, and you're a much better productive citizen. And now you have children, and now your child wants to go smoke crack. All of the shit that you know that it brings, do you want them to do that? That's the same thing as saying, okay, would I tell my kids don't get tattoos? Or every single piece of ink on my body is meaningful to me. I wouldn't go get a tattoo of like fucking Bugs Bunny or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
be a favorite character.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to go to what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is, yeah, okay, that's your favorite character, right? But like I said, for me, I will explain to my children, every single piece of art that's on my body is something that's meaningful to me in my life and what I want to envision, what I've gone through, right? So if you want to go get a tattoo, I will make sure that, one, you go to a good and reputable place. It's clean. It's, it has everything that it has needs about it. But now
I
also
don't think
too,
you would tell your kids no because you have them.
No, but even if I didn't have a tattoo, I would be like, okay, I would have a conversation. I would have a conversation with them. Okay, you want to get a tattoo? Why? That's the saying. Okay, my kid want to get a tattoo, and that's the very first tattoo. But now they want to get a tattoo of a butterfly on their face, like the game.
But that's the part I was about to say, because it's not going to be hypocritical. Because I'm not going to tell my kid don't get a tattoo. Because I have a tattoo, whatever. But then it's just like, I'm not going to say don't. It's just going to be, go ahead, just be responsible about it, in a sense. Like,
so that's what anything that you took part of.
In a sense, yeah. Because at the end of the day,
you probably been drinking since you was 16, maybe.
Nah, I wasn't.
You wasn't?
Nah.
How old? You was 21 when you started drinking.
I mean, I had taste here and there, but
you had taste here and there.
That never was like a thing of mine in a sense.
So your child, you caught him drinking. You gonna tell him, bro, you're 16, you shouldn't be drinking.
I'm gonna say you shouldn't be, but at the same time too is that you want to be responsible in a sense. Everything is about responsibility.
You gonna allow your kid to drink at 16?
No, I'm not gonna allow him to. But the reality is, and it's funny that what you're saying right now. And I had I don't remember who I don't know if it was with their mother or what, but at some point when your kid. I'm comfortable with my kid keeping certain things with me because that's what makes them the individual. The biggest thing I don't want my kids hiding from me is that, somebody touching them or, bullying or some type of thing where they can't control it in any sense. But then the individuality of a child is based on their responsibilities. So if your child is going to go out there and drink, like we all did, were you getting drunk when you was drinking at 16? Or
I didn't drink when I was 16.
All right, then. So
I didn't drink till I got to college. I was 17.
All right, so then when you was in college, now, were you drinking on some Wild Boy stuff, or were you just drinking?
Just the parties.
That's my point. So then at the same time too, that I can't tell my kid don't drink because that more so in the sense when you tell your kid
being
not
a hypocrite.
Yeah, but then you're gonna do it. It's just my biggest thing when you do it, be responsible about it. So I can't tell you not to because you're gonna get of an age that you're gonna drink.
But I also feel like you're weaponizing hypocrisy in the sense where there's a difference between My kid walks in and watching me pour some shit in my cup and drinking, and they're like, yo, but you tell me I can't drink, you drink in the moment. Versus a person who was an alcoholic and has had a fucked up life telling their kids, listen, this is what I dealt with, this is why I don't want you to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is the way. That's like shorties who went and got BBLs in Queens Village basement. You know what I'm saying? And now they all fucked up. They got health issues. And they're telling somebody else, don't go get your body done. It's not, you're not being a hypocrite. And I tell you, oh, I did it, don't do it. I'm telling you, if you are going, I know at the end of the day you make individual choices. If you are going to do it, this is what happened to me. Make more responsible, like Sal said, make more responsible choices about the matter, or whatever the case may be. And that's how I feel about religion, right? So like me and Becca, I'm not gonna say every night, but when we are home and we have the opportunity without as busy as things are maybe, like we read books to Jackson regularly, right? But we'll read him his kids' Bible. And one of the things, even like growing up in Catholic school, I always got in trouble for was like, yo, God and Jesus, like God, Jesus, Holy Spirit, whatever, they didn't write the Bible. The Bible was written by men like me. And when I say
not even you.
No, but when I say men like me, you're born of this earth. You bleed like I bleed. You die like, not to say how I die, but you will die at some point. You're not immortal. You're not God. So that's who wrote the Bible, the Old and New Testaments. So what's to say that if I feel like I hear something or I know something and I go and I write something that I can't install it into the Bible? They're like, no. I'm like, why the fuck not? This guy fucking Job, like, what's to say that he wasn't doing his own shit and he just got, in line first? Like, you don't know because it's the oldest thing that we know. So we go based on solely blind faith. And I like anybody who drives with me or whatever, every time before I put that car in gear, I would do a sign of the cross, right? And it's not to say that, oh, it's because I'm overtly religious, but I do believe that there's a higher power. I've gone and I've been through shit and I've survived shit that is unexplainable. So I know for a fact that there is a higher power watching over me. Because in hindsight, there's no fucking way that I should have gotten out of whatever I've gotten out of. Or there's no fucking way that all of a sudden my account...
It's your mother.
My mom is still out on me. She's praying
for you 24/7.
And my mom is, and she tells me all the time. Every single day, my mom tells me every time my mom calls me, check on me, she prays for me.
And it's funny like you said, like me, like I'm not the type. If a person wants to be religious, yo, you like it, I love it. I don't like it being instilled into me. I'm just like that person. I don't like anything being forced upon me anyway. Like, I like to make my own decisions. Do you? I would like. Yo, you want to go to church, you want to pray, you can pray right in front of me. Do you think? I'm not going to judge you, but don't judge me for the way I think. So when you got to say the same thing, my mom, she prays, and I feel like, wherever that is, I believe in energy. So if you putting out that energy, however whether you're praying to a God or whatever, you do it, I love it. At least I know that somebody wishes me well. Me, I'm not into any of that in reality. Me either. I literally have no, I hate it. And there's certain things that has happened to me that I would say, where my faith has been not even tested. It's just like I don't really have it. I put more faith in myself at this point now than I do with anything else. I'm not gonna have the conversation to say, do I believe in it or not? That's my business. How do I believe in it? But my thing is that I've never been given an answer to anything. So it's just like, and then when you talk about the whole thing about being hypocrite and like what you said in when you went to church about being judged, like, what makes you a bad person because you have tattoos? What makes you a bad person because you got your ears pierced? What makes you whatever? Because the thing is, you got people that's out there ain't got no tattoos on it. Then they're the devil themselves walking on there. So then you jumping the gun on that. So then I don't want to hear that conversation or that. Like I said, if you believe in God, then believe in it. If you believe in religions, then believe in it. But don't be shouting at everybody else out that's not doing it, because they got good people who don't do what you do. Yeah. And you got bad people who do what you do.
Right, and back to what I was saying before, right? Like how divisive religion is, because people will look at another religion and say, oh, because they pray or they believe in this, they have to be that bad or whatever I'm saying. Because it stems beyond us. Generations and generations, thousands of years before us, BC, before, Christ or whatever, that people were persecuting each other. And it goes back to imperialism. People were taking over each other's land based on religion, all that type of shit or whatever. And so back to, bringing it back to 2021, I look forward to like how when I look at my kids and what I want for them, right? So like we baptized Jax, right? And you're his godfather. And
Congratulations.
You talked about that already, man.
and so my thing was, even Becca was not raised Catholic. You know, she was 7-day Adventist. And my whole thing was, I want him to be baptized because I understand in terms of just wanting him to be anointed and be in a situation of just people being around him to know that if God forbid something happens to me, the people who are around him are going to keep him on a better guided path.
So what is it? I mean, not what is it? I'm not asking. Basically, what I'm saying is what you're doing is all hardly good intention.
Right.
Whether you want to put it on religion or whether you want to do it in some type of, I guess like an umbrella. You know, they say a village raises a child. So
right.
You at least it's almost like that's the hub at that point. Then.
Correct.
And
because
that's why I respect that. I have no problem.
Correct, because whether the ritual is pouring water over his head or putting oil on his head, or whether it's just it could have been virtual for what I know. And when it have happened the way it would have ritualistically, you know what I'm saying? It's all about putting, like that good intention on that. You know what I'm saying? And moving forward after that. So now do I know if I'm gonna put my child in Sunday school or religion or whatever? My whole thing is I want to instill a moral compass in my child. I want my child to be able to look at a situation. Oh, everybody's going to fuck up. I'm probably going to fuck up today. I'm probably going to fuck up tomorrow. We all fuck up. But I feel like your moral compass is what guides you and sways you more or not to doing the right or wrong thing. And I think that all starts at home. It doesn't necessarily have to start with religion. It's just about instilling good intention, like you just said, in your kids. Yeah. Like, yo, I want my kid to be able to walk into a situation and be like, yo, that's not for me. And not only that, because my dad is going to be to the point if I do it, but like knowing yourself and understanding who you are and be like, oh, that's not my whole thing. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not a thing that's just about, at 1 year old or at 30 years old, those lessons constantly learn and change. But, I'm sure we've all been in a situation where we're like, nah, I'm going to walk away from this, or this ain't for me, or doing the right thing, you know what I'm saying? And not doing the right thing for the sake of social media now, but it's just understanding that, yo, there's a difference between right and wrong, regardless of the fact.
Yeah, however, whichever way whether it's based on belief or it's faith or just being a righteous person or a good person.
So I'll pose this question, like, are either of you going to raise your child in a religion or just as it goes type of thing?
Parenting is hard, bro. Parenting, it gotta be
the hardest job I don't get paid for.
Jobs in the world, because I'm just sitting here. It's a
what is it? What is it?
Blessing, man.
What is it? What?
It's
might have to show them. Might have to show them back the t-shirt again. You got it on back of yours.
I got stand up though.
Laziness begets more laziness.
That has to be the hardest blessing in the world, because I'm just sitting here thinking about just like decisions that you have to make growing up. Like, some people have to join gangs, and then now your son want to join a gang and you're telling him, no, you cannot join a gang because this is what I went through. But then, like, just people in general, I'm going to do it. People do stuff for themselves, so they got to go through their own lessons to fall on their face to realize, damn, I should never did it. So as a person, me in general, like my mom and dad, they didn't do a whole bunch of shit, but like half the shit I did was cause they didn't do it. Like they don't know what it's like, so it's like I gotta try it. And I'm like, yo, if my son do half the shit that I did, that I know I did, that I'm gonna tell him not to do, this shit's gonna be crazy.
That's what I'm saying. It's just like the biggest part of it. I only could associate that with is like, it's kind of like you joke about you talk about power, and he's just like, oh, I ain't.
That's what I was thinking about. Like,
you remember what the real problem was is that he wanted to be like, but he took him so far away that he didn't give him a choice. He made the choice for him and saying that I don't want you to be part of it. But then not saying that you're gonna, like you said, I'm not gonna be all right. Yo, Christian J, come in with me and let's go get, watch me get a tattoo. Because here in this point, I joke around with Christian, or a younger one. I'm like, yo, you gonna get a tattoo? He's like, nah, I don't want no tattoo. But he knows I got a tattoo. So the thing is, it was dope is that he was making his own decision, which is like this. So I know when he does get a tattoo, if he decides that, that's on him. He's not doing it because dad is doing it, because he knows I have it, But he's not on some junk like, oh, I want a tattoo because that.
But he's also not doing it because he's being influenced by somebody else.
Exactly.
And that's for me what's the biggest thing.
And that's cool. That's because that's responsibility. Because you are only responsible for yourself. So even if you see dad smoking weed or dad is doing crack, that's on you in a sense. Because, like I said, what am I doing? Anything could be influential to my child. Me being outside, like I said, drinking all the time alcohol. My son, he doesn't even want to even touch alcohol. So it's not even a situation like I have to think, oh, I don't want to taste that. So all these things, regardless, that's why it's so funny because we saying these things. I'm watching my son. I'll be like, yo, take a sip, joking around. No, that's for adults. I don't want to drink that. Mm-hmm. So again, he's responsible. Yeah, I mean, I always
yeah, and that's funny. Nai's the same way. She'll be like, nah, I'm straight. Yeah. I'm cool. So whatever. Because they know it and they understand it, and that's cool. And that's what I want them to be like. But I also don't want them to be like, oh, only because it's dad. I want them to be able like it's scary because Becca constantly reminds me, like, Nai's gonna be 15 next month. Becca constantly reminds, oh, she has sweet season's coming up. And then damn, yo, in 2 years she'll be going to college. And I'm like, damn, yo, I gotta go move to a state that I can get a legal pistol in 2 years. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you keep reminding me that I gotta go get a goddamn gun. But I say that to say that I'm very proud of the type of child and young lady that Naya is because she's not very easily influenced. Like, if she's not gonna do something, to almost to a fault where it's like, if I tell her to do some shit, she gonna do it on her own time. When it's like, nah. But she also does not do things on other people's time because she takes the time to process, like, yo, like, how is this affecting me and is it even benefiting me?
And it's funny you bring up like Naya, because Naya and Jaden is about the same. And when we was talking about it was the thing about the what was that, Generation Z?
Right.
I think I had the thing, and it was talking about I had screenshot it. It said California high school teacher claims Generation Z is less educated, more depressed, and without values compared to other generations. So it's funny to say that, you know, my children are, they would be considered Generation Z. I forget what years is that. I think when we was talking about,
I think it's like, it was like 06 or some shit like that.
They're born between 97 and 2012.
97, god damn.
So 96 to 21.
Yeah, so both of my kids, because Jaden's
Naya will be in that age
and
too.
Christian is 2010. So I'm thinking about, but then now I can say when I read it, I was like, yeah, because I wasn't thinking about my kids. My kids aren't that influential. They are very mindful. They are what he said. What he said. Without values, my kids to me do have values. Do I see them as depressed? No, they happy-go-lucky kids.
I think all
educated, nah. So I wouldn't even sit there and say all that is.
But I think
all that stems from anything that has to deal with your upbringing of your child. I think it stems from the household. That's me personally. I
but it's
may
also, remember
be
it said California, so that could just be that demographic.
No. He's kind of right because mind you, I work in high school, so
you have way more.
I'm dealing with them from 13 to 17. Some of them
to 18,
got left back, got to be there 18, 19.
You know what episode we was talking? You said it was the girl.
Yeah.
That was on some like
OnlyFans or sell her body for bread or whatever.
17.
So it's like I'm watching it, but I just feel like in her case, one is just her upbringing. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Her parents is not very involved, and I feel like as a parent, if you're not involved, the streets is gonna teach your kids. They're gonna learn from the internet. They're gonna learn from anywhere else besides whatever you could put out there.
Where there's no foundation in essence.
And even if you are involved, you also gotta be mindful. Like, you gotta understand, like, majority of parents work, right? Like, my shift is a 12-hour shift, but that means that I work for 12 hours, but I'm still out the house an hour before and an hour after. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going for 14 hours in the I'm going for 14 hours in the day, maybe 15. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So as much as we instill in our children, we're still entrusting the school system and the morals that we put in them to raise them. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it's like a 50-50 with that post. Because when we were growing up,
everyone looked out for us.
Yes and no.
Yes and no, yeah.
If you were being bullied, right? Excuse me. You had one of two choices, right? You're going to stand up or you're going to sit down. Now, because of social media, right? it's not like, oh, this one person is bullying me. It can be thousands of people. It can be the whole school. They can find you. Somebody can be filming you walking down the hallway, and your laces on time. And you tripped. Oh, yeah, somebody filmed it. Oh, nah, you a klutz. And now everybody, oh, klutz. And now the kids are coming home. Then everybody calling me a klutz. It's all over social media. People making fun of me. What I'm saying. So social media. And just the times that we on, like for us to get on the internet back then, like there was this post, and I was crying laughing.
Yeah, I remember
where
that
they were like, yo, this is how you differentiate a generation. Play this one sound, and if they don't know what it is, they're way too young for anything.
Mm-hmm. And they played that.
And they played the dial tone to AOL. If you don't know what that sound is, you need to fucking sit the fuck down and listen to everything we got to tell you. Because you were not young enough to understand. Like we were talking about before, we were around when the internet was birthed.
Yeah, it was created, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We were around when, like you said, you needed a phone cord that your mom wouldn't click out because she needed to call somebody.
The
AOL kept coming in the mail.
What's crazy?
All that shit.
If you was on the internet, you couldn't be on the phone.
That's what I'm saying. That's why kids always on the internet at night because their parents is going to sleep. And then that's when cell phones came out. But then cell phone minutes wasn't free until 9. You paid an extra $10 to get it at 7, and then it became everybody free till 7, and then midnight, and then everything unlimited. So
the
they wasn't living through all of that stuff.
And now saying that, I mean, like I said, I don't feel my kids fall in that line or that Generation Z. They are in it, but then I think that my kids have values. They're not stupid or anything. I'm not saying that because they're my kids, like. Cause your kids will do something stupid like, what the hell is kids? Like you start questioning, but my kids is straight. They are typical kids. Like there's nothing they're doing over the top that they shouldn't be doing, and then whatever they exceed in great, they exceed at it. But then it's just like I go back on the sense like I do agree. It is upbringing. It is what you instill into your child because there is certain things, but also where we come from a different. It's almost like when you see like you might watch TV and it be a dude, he a street dude, but then you see his kid. This kid is nothing like that. So it's like, I'm not a street dude, but then I was never really in a situation of being like, with a silver spoon in my mouth in a sense. My kids is probably more so on that line, but it's because I don't want them experiencing certain things that I experienced, so they shouldn't have to in a sense. And it's like, it's funny when you said with social media, because there's so much access to your children now with social media, or whatever like that, and I have a thing I always say to you, like I'm big when I talk to my kids, like yo, you ain't smart and cute. I like smart is so somebody know how to recognize, memorize a book, and cute is for puppies. I'll tell them, like especially Christian, I say a lot to him as well because he's a very people person kind of kid. So then I have to be conscious that he's not allowing other kids that are mean and jacked up a lot of times because they are, wherever they're learning at home, they bring it into my child. Also, you handsome and intelligent. And every time I keep saying, and I joke around, what are you? You always say, I'm handsome and intelligent. I'm like, because, as a boy to be a man, what else is that to be handsome and intelligent? Is the fact that you ain't smart. Like, you intelligent. Everybody keeps saying, like I said, dog is smart. Like, you can teach him some tricks. But my son is, like I said, him being so, his own leader, like if he's the one that's going to do something. Like, if he gets in trouble, I know he's the ringleader. He ain't following nobody. That was him. And that's because of his intelligence. Like, because he knows what he learned to create it as to be in his own sense and become his own person. And that's the only way you could have it. So when I remember something happened one time, I think he said a girl said to him like, oh, I don't like you. Or something like that. So what you said. He's like, I don't care. And I was like, why you say? He's like, yeah, because I'm handsome and intelligent. So at the end of the day, it's just like, just keep that. Like, don't ever have that attitude that you're anything less. Because you think about those type of things not being told that, you can see adults that have that in them. I don't know why. I'm not going to go into the line of saying why people do certain things to their bodies, but at some point, if you don't have that confidence in yourself, in many ways, whether it's just achieving things in life, whether it's the way you look, whether it's the way you think, if you're not getting that reassurance, and a lot of times you don't get that as kids, you easily folded in this world. And like I think one of the episodes I spoke about, I'm like, there's sharks out there, and they don't look like sharks. They smile on your face all day.
Wolf in sheep's clothing.
And they would sit there, and I have a saying. I always say,
a lot of sayings.
I do,
go ahead.
but I don't trust the wolf in sheep clothing. My problem is the sheep in the wolf's clothing. The people that sit there and ride with you, that sit there, that we all in a pack together. Because what's stronger than a herd of sheep ain't stronger than a pack of wolves. But then you got people that sit there and have a wolf clothing with you. They riding with you. And in the moment that the wave ain't right, they go with the flock.
Sheep.
Exactly.
Shit, they fold like a freaking
I have more
plate.
respect for the pack than the herd. I don't care how much more people's in it. So I don't want my kids to ever be part of the sheep. I want you to be the pack. Because at the end of the day, whether you by yourself or with the pack, a bunch of sheep is always going to be afraid of you. So it's just like the same time I want my kids to be as powerful as it can be, because at some point in time, you're going to get folded. Like even me as a grown man, there's a situation where you get tried. And like I said, I ain't getting tried in a sense as a man physically. I'm getting tried mentally, because I think the hardest fight out there in the world is about that mental warfare. That joint is making you second guess yourself.
Absolutely.
When you that simple thing is, it'll be hard to just roll out of bed. It's not the physical problem, it's the mental time. Sometimes you mentally just can't get out of bed in the morning. So if you don't have that strength of just going to tackle, because sometimes you don't want to go to work because you don't want to deal with the people at work. It's not because you physically can't do the job. People stress you out so much you don't even want to show up.
I feel at that point, you need to just change your career.
I agree, yeah. I agree.
It is, but then
sometimes
it's not that easy.
If you're going to work every day and you hate your job, fuck it, leave. Find something else. It's just not for you.
But it's not.
I would say this.
It's not that easy.
Hold on.
But
I would say this. Don't just up and leave. Don't just up and leave.
Yeah, don't listen to Steve. That's
fine. No. I agree.
Listen, I'd rather struggle than be miserable.
No.
I'm upping and leaving. That's me personally. No. I'm upping and leaving.
Here's what I'm gonna say.
Because I'd rather struggle than be miserable.
Have your exit strategy. If you at work and you are miserable, whatever the fuck you doing, miserable at work, whatever the case may be, right? Have your exit strategy already set up. Start going on those interviews. When those days you call out sick because you don't want to deal with the job, make those interviews that day. You know what I'm saying? Find those jobs that you want to find, or try to cross-train another department or something like that, and then do it.
Yeah, I'm different. I let go and let God.
See, I can't.
If I'm not feeling the situation, I'm out of it quick.
See, the thing is, like,
I don't have to put up with nothing.
Look at my situation. Like, it's a job I've been wanting for so long. I'm saying no all the time. But I knew what I was doing. I didn't want to do it no more. But then at the same time, so I'm not going to just say no. But then what kept me going to work every day, because I already knew in my mind that I had plans to do something else. As much as you might get annoyed, I couldn't roll out of bed and do it.
That's different, though. You knew there was like a bigger purpose at your job for promotion is something that you really want to do. You're not going to leave the job because you can never get that promotion.
But it's bigger than that, though, because in reality is that it's also, I wouldn't call it, it's not complacency, it's that I know what I can see. But then what about the person that's working? Let's think about it. What about the person that's working at McDonald's? You can't go and sit there and say, because that McDonald's job is probably feeding them and their children. You might be miserable, but then what you going to do? Just leave that? Even though
Foot Locker. You get the same pay at Foot Locker, but it's different. Now I don't got to deal with...
But Foot Locker not hiring. Now you sitting waiting because you're not getting unemployment because you quit.
So now, listen. So you can't just...
Like, I don't get me wrong.
The way I feel, like I said, I'm different from everybody. What's for you, for me personally, what I feel like is what's for me is for me.
And that's what I'm saying.
So if I leave
I don't disagree with you.
Like, and we just talking about religion. I'm telling you right now, God is gonna put something in my path that's for me.
I don't disagree with you.
I might struggle a little bit,
what I'm saying is,
but I'm gonna find my way.
I agree with you, right? But at the same time too, when I say like in terms of like religion, whatever, I'm a strong believer in God or whatever the higher power is. Help those who help themselves. So if you just gonna, if not saying you, I'm just saying if whomever it is listening and watching, whatever,
job. You don't just leave your job and just sit home and think.
But what's what I'm saying? But what I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, before you even say, hey, yo, welcome to your boss, I'm like, yo, suck it. I already did 5 interviews and I got offered a job. That yo, as soon as I quit this shit, I'm gonna take my 2 weeks and I'm gonna go start that shit. But don't just say, hey, I'm quitting this shit and I don't know where the fuck I'm going. Because you might live in a place where...
At this age, I wouldn't do it. When I was younger...
now who being a hypocrite about it?
When I was younger...
You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying.
At this age, fuck it. I still do it. God got me. I'm going to figure it out.
Because I definitely walked off a job. I remember, I never forget it.
But listen, job. At this age, I wouldn't do it because I'm in my career. It's different. But a job, growing up...
That's what I'm saying. If you're working at Foot Locker type of shit or whatever, maybe. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, me personally, if you have people who depend on you and you got a rent to pay, you got bills to pay. Like you don't have any, you don't have bread to fall back on to take care of you or whatever. Have an exit strategy. I understand you want to quit that situation that you in. You don't like them bitches at your office. You don't like the way that they treat you. You don't like your commute to and from work. It's killing your gas. It's all of that shit. You don't like whatever the fuck it is. Have an exit strategy. Yo, what do you want to do? Go out, interview for it, find it. When you get that shit, then you can walk into your office, head high, and when your boss say some shit, tell you, suck my dick, I'm out of here. But until then, I wouldn't just necessarily say, if you have people defend on you and say, yo, fuck it, today's Monday, quit, let go and let God, because you don't necessarily know what's going to happen on Tuesday. So I feel like with anything in life, you need to have some sort of faith in yourself, first and foremost. Understand yourself and your ability. Yeah. Like me personally, if I decide I'm going to quit my job today, I know for a certified fact that I'm going to go somewhere, I'm going to fucking find me a job that's going to reciprocate what I'm getting, what I'm doing.
What made you think in that sense?
What it is
now, let me give you a comparison though, because now, like what Steve said, you know, if you work in on a job, you hate the job. A lot of times, the passion that you hate the job is because typically, I'm not gonna say typically, but a lot of times you feel there's no way out. Because if you hate the job, you're just gonna walk out. In a sense, so you have in your mind somewhere you're blocked off. Because anything you hate, why would you welcome it into your life at that point? So then that means that person is in a rock and a hard place, or they literally see no way out. See, you're saying that I'm gonna find something. So then now, what's gonna make that person that feels like that to feel how you feel?
For me personally, it's because I know myself. I would never quit my job off emotion. Like I would never quit my job, even if I go to my job every single day, and I can't stand these motherfuckers. I hate you, and the motherfucker that birthed you. It doesn't matter to me because I'm going to that job to secure the paycheck for my family. So how you feel at your job and how you treat me is not going to differentiate me coming and going from work. But additionally to that, I also know, like when this is what I bring to the table, I know in what I do for my career, in my skill set, what I do and what I bring to the table, if you want to decide that, yo, I'm out of here or you want to find me, you're going to be way worse off. Because I understand my skill set. And in everything that I know that I bring to the table and what I've learned, I know that if I go anywhere else and if they're competent in the most basic sense, they understand what I'm bringing and how I'm going to help them develop.
But the thing is, like, I mean, you're not really answering the question. The thing is that there's because okay, if the person is working finish line, whatever. Honestly, if you're working, I respect it.
No, okay. So that's why I'm sorry. So that's why I said this me personally. Yeah, that's why I prefer that me personally, and that's why I say.
Well, when I say what I'm asking too is the fact that our audience is. There's probably some. I'll be real with you. There's somebody sitting in there watching in the job. I've sat in rooms with people that hate their job and assume that when I speak about mine, they're like, oh, I wish I could do that. But then that works for me. Like not everybody's gonna be willing to go and dig a hole and pull cable and work with live electricity just because you see me enjoy what I'm doing. But the thing is that I also can say to myself, I built my value on the sense because I started from the bottom, I made my way up. Yeah, I have education, etc. But then now you have another person that is 32 years old. Like you're saying, that people are depending on them. They don't have the room to go and take a back step to go moving forward.
Right, and that's why I mentioned before. That's why I said, I know me personally, if I was to go and do that, what that situation would look like for me. But anybody else at home, like I said, I cannot dictate anybody else's situation.
What advice would
I tell them, you need to have an exit strategy. If you are doing a job, you could be a dig graver. You at the midnight shift, you work at a grave site. You got to dig holes where they're going to bury people. And you fucking hate it and you can't stand it. It rains, it's cold, it's nasty, and you in a fucking place of dead fucking bodies. It's creepy as shit. Before you go and you quit that job, what do you want to do? Or what do you feel like you can go and do? Find those opportunities. Apply for those things. Speak to people in that field. Do your homework. Do your research. And apply for those jobs. Have those interviews. Before you go and you decide to give up your check to take care of your family, know that another check is coming to you. You know what I'm saying? That's why I say, but for me personally in my life now is different because I put myself in a position where what I do for a living, how I've carried myself, and the work and the grind that I've put in over the last 10 years, I know that if I decide, hey, I'm out of here, if I keep in that same industry and I go somewhere else, they're going to want me and they're going to be fucking groveling over me. But it's not overnight. And it's not that I haven't even applied and looked at other places. I've done my research to know that with the skill set that I have, if I bring this somewhere else, what is going to bring for me. People blindly walk into their job and say, yo, it's Wednesday. I don't do this. Yo, they said they were going to get pizza and they fucking brought bagels. I fucking hate this place. Every day I go to the bathroom, this bitch take a shit. I hate her. I'm quitting my job. You know what I'm saying? So now you don't have any plan as to what you're going to go do after the fact because you're quitting off of emotion.
Let's go full circle back to basically what we was talking about as far as now. Like we talk about religion, and we talk about the kids being Generation Z, and then they not having certain values. That's what the person said. Because you're a guidance counselor. So then now, yeah. So then now you think about it. If those children are lacking those things, when you talk about the depression, the lack of value in education, all those things then those kids are done then, if you think about it then. Because everything you're saying, you showed me value of yourself. You showed me the fact that the job doesn't cause you to be depressed, and you also know that you're educated enough to move on in that. So now we all have children here, of course, as well as Daddin and shit. But then how are we going to instill that to our kids now, in a sense, to move on? Because honestly, just my kids watching that, what you're doing, that's not enough in reality.
It's not enough. And I feel like it's not even enough for people who's watching it, right? Because some people need to be hands-on. But as parents, right, I didn't get here overnight. No, I had to deal with all of that shit. So now knowing all of the shit that I had to deal with and how I got to where I'm at, I can look at my kids as they're growing and maturing, and I can fill those voids, and I can show them those lessons. I can tell them, yo, listen, this is what this is, and I can differentiate that for them and help them and give them that sort of guidance. I can't do that for everybody, but at least at home for my kids, listen, yo, if you want to go and you want to do this career, because you know, kids watch Doc McStuffins, things of that nature. To be a doctor is a lot. You're not gonna watch Grey's Anatomy and think that, yo, next season you're a doctor.
You're lying.
You think you're a doctor?
I'm a fucking doctor. Fuck that. Yo,
you know what I'm saying?
I watch all the episodes of Grey's Anatomy, and I know I'm a fucking doctor.
You're not performing surgery on me.
Telling you, bro.
But we also dealing with a different. They also dealing with a different age of the fact that social media is also there, where you have kids not thinking in the line of being doctors anymore. And they're thinking in the line of being, like my son.
Coders, IT, and all that shit. I
mean, I'm happy with my son. He was just like, oh, I want to be. The other day, I was just in the drive, and I'm like, what you want to be? And he was like, he loves Legos. So I'm like, yo, you could be an architecture, or you could be an engineer. And he was like, no, I want to create games. I'm like, dope, because I'm gonna be 100% behind you if that's what you want to do. Just what, and I just asked him, even though he's not gonna have the answer at 11 years old, but like, what are you gonna do moving forward? He's like, I want to play games. I'm like, nah, you gotta do more than that. Like, you gotta learn how to do.
But I feel like, okay, so having that, even having that everyday conversation, because every parent asks their kids, oh, how's your day at school? Every single kid is gonna give the same fucking answer. Good.
Yeah.
You gotta. That's what I'm saying. You gotta switch it up, but you gotta ask probing questions, and that's what I asked my kids. It was good. Okay, what was good about it today? What was different about it today that you didn't do yesterday or you never did before? Because you gotta probe that about them or whatever. So your kid, your child, Christian is saying, oh, I want to make video games. All right, cool. What type of games do you want to make? You know what I'm saying? But I feel like as a parent, if you're engaged with your child, you are knowing those sort of things. And my daughter says, hey, I want to be a nurse. Okay, cool. What about nursing do you like? Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I asked those questions, because I was trying to get back on that in the sense as, I mean, like I said, it's Daddin and shit. So you trying to like, because I think a lot of times I was kind of scared to have that conversation with him. Not because it was a bad conversation, but it was more in the sense of, I don't want to force my kid to be in a situation. Like, I grew up in a situation when I went to school for IT. And I'm like, why are you going to school for IT? But of course, my parents understand that. Being Caribbean, you either be a doctor, lawyer, or a nurse, depending where you are.
Doctor, avocat, nurse, CNA.
They're like, what the hell is that? But not realizing, like, in reality, like, I have friends that are doctors, and they are like, yo, like, it's rough, in a sense. I mean, of course, it's cool to say, you wear the patch, yeah, you're a doctor, and shout out to all the doctors and everything. But then I had no drive to want to be no doctor. Like, I'm not going to sit there, because now I'm going to put somebody's life in my hands that I had no drive on doing, just because my parents told me to go and do it. I had no passion for that. So then that's why I say when I'm having this conversation, I'm purposely bringing it back, because it's like, you know, how do you instill those type of values? How do we? Because it's a practice with all of us now. My kids is getting older. My son's getting. And again, you have experience, because it's funny enough that you don't have a child that age, but you're dealing with children of what I'm dealing with. So how am I supposed to instill something in my kid without feeling I'm forcing them?
So what I was gonna say earlier was, I don't think as people we give ourselves enough credit. You know what I'm saying? For me, growing up, yes, my parents played a major part in molding who I am, but I felt like most of the work was me. Like the values and everything. I just the what I can say my parents gave me was they showed me the definition of hard work. But as far as values,
I agree with
they weren't home enough to give me values, and in my mind, honestly, they probably did, but I want to give myself some of the credit, because I don't feel like they was working too hard to give me these lessons. I didn't have these conversations.
Well, maybe not too hard, but they were just working hard so that.
No, my parents were working too hard. My mom, they was gone, but when I left the school and then come back to 8 o'clock at night, and then by that time I gotta go to sleep. By that time, my mom is making dinner for the next day. We're prepping it for the next day.
They was in their own struggle.
Yeah, they was in their own struggle. They weren't. They didn't have the time that I have.
But that's why I say
now.
Not too hard, because as we've gotten older and we grew up through that, right? We've seen opportunity where we work smarter, not as hard. They didn't have the. I know that they didn't have the same opportunities, because I say all the time, like what my father did for a living, he did not have to do. My father could say, "Fuck that shit. I'm gonna go get my certificate in America to be a mechanic, and then open up a shop." But he said, "Fuck it. I'd rather that I be home every day when my kids got home, make way less money, and let my wife go to school, and then eventually make more money." You know what I'm saying? So he made that choice. But what you're saying, like too, right? So I don't feel like it's that necessarily like they work too hard. They work hard enough that they, in their mind, they felt like, yo, I'm working this hard to make sure that everything that my kids do need, that they're gonna be able to get. But they also did not have, like,
I mean, that's your parent.
No,
I'm talking about, for me personally, my parents worked enough. I don't know how they did it, bro. They worked enough to pay the rent, and I'm pretty sure they had money aside, because they was able to buy a house once I got like 18. But they worked enough to make sure we had something to eat. And as far as, I didn't have everything I wanted. I mean, I didn't need it. I didn't need the video games and all that. I didn't need it. I didn't have to have it.
You wanted it.
I wanted it, yeah. I didn't need it. But they gave me, like, we never missed a meal. That's what I was telling my cousin the other day. I said, yo, we never missed. That's the only thing that I could say that we never really didn't. Like, we never missed a meal. My parents made sure we had food, breakfast, lunch, dinner. They always made sure we had enough food in the house. That's one thing my parents made sure we had was
because
food.
the opportunities of employment that they had, that might have been just a limit of it, because they might have had to sacrifice one of those meals for you if they wanted to try to up their level. But now it's like, how long do I have to sacrifice their lunch to up my level to make sure they have quality lunch again? You know, so they rather say, yo, at least if this place is paying me $500 a week, even if I know that I can get better, at least I know my kids is gonna eat good and I can save a little bit, no matter how long it takes. And that's why, like, for me, that's why, like, the little, like, not gonna say discrepancy, but like what I was pointing out before, because I looked at that with not just my parents, but a lot of people, and I look at like, yo, you worked at this job for 30 years, and I'm not gonna say you don't have anything to show for it, but what you are showing for it in this day and age don't mean shit. Like, you can't be in a house. And I've known a lot of people, especially Haitian folks, who have grinded their fingers to the bone, to the knuckle, in order to scrap the down payment to get a house. But now they live in a house that they can't pay the heat for. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got a house that they can't, they don't have the gas on. They gotta, you know what I'm saying? The lights is off, they gotta light the stove with a match. But then it's like, what is that worth? And for me, in terms of whether it's religion or what we were talking about before, I just want to instill in my kids, like, yo, the benefit of knowing, like, yo, you have the opportunity to have hard work, and I have your back. So I want your faith to know that there is a high power of sorts, but like have faith in your parents and your village to know that we got your back. Because I feel like in my life, this like we're the first generation of a village that can really do that. That's not, keep it 100, not white, not privileged, nothing handed down. There was no life insurance money. There was no trust, no nothing. We're the ones that are working in our careers, that we're lining it up, that like our kids can have the opportunity to say, yo, I want to go be a tattoo artist. I need to get material. My parents would look at me and say, what the fuck? Man, if you don't go, go be a priest or fucking go be a doctor or some shit. Because in their mind is, you got to do something to make money to bring home to the family.
Because it's like when you say, you're on a job you hate and you just leave. You think that at some point your mom and your dad was like, I don't want to do this. They working mad hours, but they did it to be sure you have food on your table. And you never missed the meal, but I guarantee that feeling of leaving, there was going to be no food on that table at some point.
Nah, well, the line of duties that my parents, the type of job that they have, my father was doing, growing up, he was doing taxi. So, like, it's what they're allowed to do. They don't really, it's really...
Because you're employed.
There's really he didn't have that option. Whether he hated the job or not, this is...
So you think now, because there's more options, that a person that's in a situation, like what you said...
But being that his options are still limited right now, because you didn't take advantage of it. You never really sacrificed to get to that level. Nah. See, my like I said, my father was a taxi driver, and from there he drove the ambulance, and then now that's what he's still doing now. So he did like level up for him, but
he didn't leverage it in the way that
he's still doing the same line of work, different company.
Gotcha.
You understand? Right. So like my mom is a home health aide, which is most people from Caribbean when they come here, this is what they do. She'll change if she don't like her clients or wherever she's at the company, she'll switch to another company.
She's laterally moving, but she's not
leveling up.
She's not leveling up. But so they're real stagnant, but they're just jumping from company to company.
But for me, I think that like that's one of the things that I want to be able to make sure that like my kids and all of our kids understand. Like, all right, if you're in a situation where you feel like there's no upward mobility, right, and you see an opportunity or you want to do something else, that even if you at 30 years old, you went to college, you want to say Christian wanted to go make games or whatever, and then he decided like, where I'm at or where the gaming industry is, people is making games every day because of the technology. There's no way for me to make real money and level up on this. Maybe I want to take a step back, take a month off, and go maybe make simulations for jobs to teach people shit. I want my kids to be able to come to me and be like, listen, I want to pivot and do some shit or whatever. I need some help with it. I got you. Let me help you or show you even if it's a situation where I don't have the money, I want to have the resource to be like, I might know how to help you get where you're going. I don't want to look at my kid like, what you mean?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I want to be like, what the fuck out of here? Why you gonna go do that?
That's one thing I could say about my parents, even at the Caribbean. Well, my mom mostly, because she made most decisions. My pops was just, he was there to pay the bills. And whatever we needed, as far as, food and clothes and stuff for school, my mom really took care of that. So I had this conversation with her when I was about 16, 17. I told her I wanted to act, like 15. I told her I wanted to act. And we went to New Jersey. I got an agency and everything. And on the way home, she's telling me, she said, the only reason I did this is because I don't want you to say, you wasn't an actor because I didn't take you there. I didn't do it with you. Mm-hmm. Granted, and that's why I appreciate them, because I couldn't make it. I could have went real far, but being that they had to work so much, I'm a minor. I can't go to these auditions by myself. I can't do an episode without, my parent being present, adult being present. And they work so much, and my grandparents don't speak no English. I can't really take them nowhere because you got to really consent to being on camera. So as far as I wanted to go, and I could have went as further than I went, but it's like, the opportunity wasn't.
See, you should have been a gang member and got somebody older than you.
Yeah, I could have been a fucking gang member that did it like that way, but nah. Usually around the gangs, they like you got to be like a legal guardian to do it. They would have to adopt me or something.
I mean, a little paperwork here and there.
You say yourself now, like I'm gonna ask all y'all that is where you at now. I mean, I think we all still not even in a crossover. We still advancing, but where you at now? I know you say you want to do acting, but where you at now? How do you feel as a guidance counselor now? Like at this point, because right now you are, but who knows what tomorrow will bring for you?
So like, me personally, like I feel like I dictate my life. So right now, I still want to act. I'm still gonna act. I'm gonna be an actor. I just felt like I was smart enough to know I never want to be a struggling actor. At this point in my life, this point in my career, I could take 5 years off. I mean, I could, maybe not today, but in the future, I could take 5 years off and really focus on that. Because with my company, the way it is, it's like we got that option. We may not get paid, but I can take 5 years off and still get my job. So growing up, I felt like I always wanted to have something in place before I make that move, especially after I was doing these shows and then I had to stop because no one was there to take me. And then once I turned 18, I was able to go by myself. I did a couple, but now I'm in college. It's harder to just get up and go. And I didn't want to just stop college because I wanted, like I said, a backup plan. And then my backup plan was my college, and then I ended up getting my career. So then now it's like everything is falling into place. So I can definitely stop. I honestly think it's going to pick up as my son get older because I definitely want him to just try it out. Because I know he'll love it. Because I love it. Not just because I love it, but it's something.
You throw something on
something,
the
yeah.
And then,
he'll try it out.
And I think that's something. I think that's something to leverage too, right? Like, not like that's just this, but like, bring your son along. You know, now not only you want to do something like that, but then you have introducing him to that realm of the things, and then now it's like, yo, it could be a Daddin and me act. It could be me. You know what I'm saying? It makes me more versatile. But I also appreciate the fact that. You didn't just let it go.
Yeah, no, never.
Because I feel like a lot of times as adults, when we finally get into something that's just sustaining our household and is making us money, and we're like, oh, I'm comfortable enough to just be like, we just like, our aspirations go out the window. And I feel like that is a death sentence because you feel like now whatever I'm in is going to be what I am, and it now defines you. And I feel like our parents did not have that. And I know for a fact that my parents, the way that they, how should I put it? The way that they sort of swallowed that pill was through religion. And I don't want that to be a coping mechanism for me and my family. I want, you know what I'm saying? Like my lady, she's back in school now. She didn't have the opportunity because, she had Naya young. So she's back in school, and I tell her all the time, like, I'm proud of her for being able to go back and do that. And I support her wholly. Like, yo, if you got school, you got class, whatever, let me know. I won't record on these days. I'll make sure, we work it around our schedule because that's something that I know that you want and you need. And it's just not because it's going to be beneficial to the family, but it's something that is going to be beneficial and that's something that you wanted to achieve. So I'm not going to stifle that. That's why I say I'm really happy that even now as an adult, you got your crib, you got your family, you still like, I still want to go and act. And I still want to do these things. Because even myself, like there are things that I want to do that when I tell people these things, they look at me crazy. And I'm like, you laugh now, but in 3-4 years, because like this is our struggle period. Everybody had, like, people don't recognize the struggle period when they're in it.
They don't respect the struggle.
They don't respect it because when they get to their achievement, they're like, oh shit, what's crazy? I remember 2-3 years ago we was like now, like, yo, this is our 25th episode. You know what I'm saying? Like, when we first talked about this and we started this, I'm like, yo, I brought this idea to you, yo, this is the type of shit I want to do, this, that. Y'all like, yo, we with it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We put it all together, and we came, shout out to Preach, and we, sat in his studio, and we did the show, the first episode. You know what I'm saying? And then now, we're 25 episodes in. Before we blink our eyes, we're going to be 100 episodes in. And then it's going to be iHeartRadio. It's going to be Spotify deals. It's going to be fucking doing shows across the country and all that kind of stuff. And it's not that we're going to let even this stifle the aspiration that we have. And that's why I want to tell people, like, yo, like, always have a backup plan, for sure. But don't let follow your heart.
Follow your heart.
And don't let your current situation define you.
Mm-hmm. Even though, honestly, I should have continued acting maybe a couple years ago. Because at first, when I first got my job, I'm like, listen, I'm in my career now. I got to get tenured. I mean, tenure for me is I can't get fired. I mean, depending on, I got to do something outrageous to get fired. But it's kind of hard to get fired once you're tenured.
Knowing you would have been crazy outrageous.
It has to be outrageous. But I got tenure, I want to say, a year and a half ago. So, or maybe a year ago.
You tenured, it don't matter.
I'm tenured
you
now.
Tenured now.
You there, man.
You there.
Where you need to be at.
Yeah, it was right before the year before the pandemic.
You hit that milestone.
Anybody that's looking for an actor, you got Chocolate Dad right here.
So, that's what I'm saying. So I should have been back in the motion.
Yeah.
We started doing this.
What is it? Channing Tatum. Channing Tatum ain't it no more. You need a new Chippendale? Holla at Steve.
Word. But
some type of,
yeah, I'm gonna get back on it though. Definitely.
Some Black Love
get
type
back
of
on
show.
it.
Yeah,
as soon as my son could talk, we in these auditions. He's gonna start.
You know what's crazy? And I don't want to stifle or disrespect the art of it all, and to shout out to everybody who is in artists and who's gone to film school, acting school, things of that nature. Becca asked me a couple of weeks ago, it's like, yo, what do you want to do if you didn't have to work or whatever? And everybody, I tell people all the time the same two answers. If I had money and I did not have to show up to anybody's job, even my own company, I would be a chef and a race car driver. But in the last year, anybody who's asked me have added acting to it. Because I feel like that's something that I want to explore. And I don't want to be like, oh, I'm just going to jump in and just go get a role. Like, I want to actually, I want to do the actual work of it all. Because anybody who does something professionally, I respect what they do and the art form of what it is that they do. So I'm not just going to be like, oh, I'm just going to show up to somebody's audition and be like, oh, I'm just going to be myself or whatever. Like, I want to actually take the time and actually go and learn it and make it a craft of some sort or whatever. And hearing you even still now from 16 to as old as you are now, still continuing, that just reinforces for me like, yo, like things are never too late. And that's what I also want all of us to continue to tell our kids, like, it's never too late.
Tell each other that too.
Absolutely, it's never
even
too
Morgan
late.
Freeman, that is old.
But that's not a fair, because Morgan Freeman was born at like 35, so he's only like 90 now because he's 160.
But one thing Steve said is just like, and I have to own that. And it's funny you say that now because I've been saying to myself the past couple of days that we don't give ourselves enough credit. As
You made yourself who you are.
Yeah, and I agree because it's so fun. Like me, I still do music. I always wanted to be a producer, and even now I do it. And then it said I could gratefully say I'm not a struggling artist in a sense. And I've always said that to myself when I was making music. But I always remember I said when I started making music is that if I get a placement, I'm happy. I did that already. Like I've done commercials, I've done TV shows and stuff like that. And then I kind of just. It was so far. I was running so fast towards my goal. I didn't see that I reached it and got past it already. Everything I would say, I never gave myself credit. Like even when you talk about work-wise, and it's funny because, like I said, it's not like a situation of that it was given. It wasn't necessarily motivation. I remember somebody asked me recently. I was on a job and she was like, "Yo, like what motivates you?" And I was just like, myself. Like, and it's no disrespect to anybody, but it's just like myself. It's like I wake up every morning because I have a goal in mind, and she said, you have a vision, but she's like, whatever you see is what you're going for, and it's just you're just doing it. And then it's like when we talk about like me starting my career at where I'm at now, and then where I got me getting the promotion I have is like I saw it from the moment I did it. It took me whatever amount of time, and I never lost view of that. And I gotta be real with myself. I never gave myself the credit for who I am in a sense because I guess. I forgot where I heard it from, or it was a story. Like the guy was like he got a Grammy or something like that. Then he got the Grammy. He's like, oh, now I got it already. Like that's what the big goal was. As a music artist or however it is, you get the Grammy. Like you did it. And he's like, all right, I got the Grammy now. And then now what? And that's what's been happening to me. And like I said, I'm not fully where I want to be, but I know for sure I'm in the line of it. But I also don't be patting myself in the back in a sense because I'm so busy on
on the grind, trying to get it.
And I'm trying to be more in the sense to see that light in myself. And I can't say what it is. It's not even a bad thing. It's just like I literally had an epiphany. Like, like you said you want to do it, you did it. I said I wanted to produce music and get a place, I did it. I said I want to get a promotion, I did it. I said I want to do something, whatever I do, and I did it. And I never gave myself the credit for it. But one thing I did notice is that it's so funny. I'm watching my son, and he's just like, he's seeing it. And I never realized that. Like oh, Dad, you got a promotion. Oh, Dad, like, he lay next to me, I'm making music. He's watching. Even the other day I was sitting, he was like, yo, he's like, you guys, he's like, for your podcast, you guys should get like a venue or something like that, so you can invite people over for your podcast. It's like, he's watching it happen.
Kids be watching.
So dope. So like, I have to say, and I leave it at that. It's just like, I think a lot of people don't give themselves credit, and I even say I'm guilty of that myself. That I don't give myself as much credit as I should. In myself.
And set a goal and just.
And that's what it is.
And reach it.
And you know what's so funny that I have to say, I never set goals. And I set goals.
I always do.
When I say I don't set, it's like.
I don't set a time frame with my goals, but I set a goal. Always.
But it's so far I set it, but I almost put it in my back pocket, and I get there, and I didn't realize that goal.
Not me.
And I'm getting.
But I think overall, what we all need to do with not even just ourselves, but also our children and the people around us, right? Is celebrate that. When you have an achievement, and that's when we talked about the last episode. I crabs in the barrel shit. I don't like that shit. When somebody achieves some shit, even if I barely know you, I'm gonna big you up. I'm like, yo, I'm happy you got that, because seeing us, where we came from, and the people, you know what I'm saying, especially all three of us here are Haitian descendants, and even seeing what's going on in Haiti, and shout out to everybody in Haiti, and we're continuously praying and working with everybody. You see what stifles us, and we see all the obstacles. And when we do get someplace, it's like, yo, we get to a mountaintop, and then it's like, oh, it's like a mudslide. So we got to keep climbing. But like I said, you both mentioned, we need to continuously, when we get to our milestones, celebrate that and memorialize that, and be like, yo, I reached my goal, I got where I'm going, and now I know I'm gonna get to the next. And now when that other person coming behind you want to try to get there, you lend that hand and like, yo, listen, I got you. This is how I got where I'm going. It's not lending that hand is not gonna stop you from getting to your next goal, because you're already on road to that shit. All you're doing is letting the person know how you got to your last shit.
That crab in the barrel thing, because
crab in the barrel shit is corny as fuck.
It ain't gonna hurt them to put one claw back down to take.
But at the same time too, a lot of the ones that are down there are so stifled that they're pulling people down. You gotta let people know, listen, man, there's plenty of room at the top, and we're all not going to the same place. But if we can help each other learn, build, and help each other's children learn, build, be what it is. And great. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of everybody that we got going on. Preach, building continuously. Everybody at home. Sai, I know why you're not here. We're happy for you. And make sure your ass is on time next fucking time. You know what I mean? None of that dark skinned nigga shit.
Whoa, wait.
You don't be on time for nothing. You live next door. Man, you live next door, and you were late, bro. Steve, bro, listen.
On purpose.
Listen, Steve lived next fucking door, and he was late.
I was late on purpose.
He definitely said
it's your purpose then, I suppose. But you're still late, nevertheless. It's the fact. But listen, we love you guys. We appreciate y'all. Yo, speaking of the merch, show them the white version, man. Send them the shit.
White version
of the shirt. Now you can show them the dark version. Pause.
Nah, I really show the dark version.
Yeah, we did that.
Listen, we have we have the pocket shirt version.
It's quality shit too.
Quality shit. One thing for sure, we don't do none of that bullshit. We've been consumers for a long fucking time.
Yeah.
We know what we like, what we don't like. And this is some shit that I will sell to my people, my friends, business people, quality shit. So, Styles.
What?
I'm bugging. So many of y'all motherfuckers. Everybody got an S.
Yeah.
Like you're fucking rushing the shit. So, Styles has the white version on. Steve has the dark version on.
And we got our classic.
And I have our classic renovated, redone version, the black version on. Right now, I could peep the back of this one. You know what I'm saying? So, listen. We also got the pins. Oh, yeah. You know what I'm saying? We got the pins on. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Cups, a little back order. They'll be here just in a couple of weeks.
But you know what they look like.
Listen, so we're going to have whites and blacks of those coming down. And then we also going to have a fall line coming. So listen, hit the link in our bio. DM us, text us. probably in a couple of weeks, not probably, in a couple of weeks, by the time this episode airs, we're going to have the online store ready for everybody. So you can click, buy your merch. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you get it quick. It's going to go fast. I'm telling you. This is quality shit.
Take pictures, shout us out.
That's a
tell
fact.
More friends, tell their friends,
Tag
their cousins, and their sisters, brothers, cousins, friends. And
all of that. And then when you see Steve in a film, you know what I'm saying? He's going to get his IMDb, right? On and whatnot. Make sure you have him sign it early because it's going to be worth money. He's going to be a film star. I'm telling you. Listen, man, when Idris retires. Idris, whatever the case may be. Whatever. You know what I mean? You might be the new Black Panther at some point.
That's a fact.
Listen, put it in the atmosphere.
Wakanda forever.
Listen, put it in the atmosphere. Believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? Let go, let God. Pray over your loved ones.
Put in the work.
Listen, we shout out and praying for everybody.